one, but basically we started decorating this cake. I've got it here. It's a 6-inch chocolate Nutella cake, and it is Roblox themed, so it's got a pink outside, which I've just made the buttercream for, and then it's got a little figure which we made in last night's live, so if you want to see how I made that. I'm not a pro at fondant, I never claimed to be a pro, but I am quite impressed with how he turned out, because considering I don't make figures, I thought he looked pretty good. So I'm really hoping that they like him, because I don't play Roblox, I also don't know what it is, so as long as it was like, it was a close match to the photo, so as long as the girl that it's for likes it, that's the main thing. But we have to do a few more fondant bits this morning. I've made the big fondant stars because I found my star cutter, because you can't cut stars out. I tried and it just doesn't work, so I needed the cutter, which I found this morning. And then I've made the name and the number, the outline in fondant, which needs to set hard because it needs to stick onto the cake, but the actual name and number that go inside the outline, if that makes sense, they can be done afterwards. So I'll show you what I mean. So this is the outline, and then I need to make the 6 to go in it, and the same with the name. They've all got outlines, but they aren't actually like the words yet. So we're going to be doing that this morning, and we've also got to make bricks to go on the side. They're literally just square bricks. I'm just going to get a knife and cut out lots of rectangles and then stick those to the side of the cake. So that's what we've got to do this morning. She's not coming until 12:30, so we have loads of time. So we're gonna do the final coat now. I've got my pink buttercream, which looks so pretty, and I haven't got my iPad, so if I'm a bit slow on the chat, then that'll be why. I can run and get it halfway through. But yeah, I want to get this final coat on it first before I run off. So yes, that's what we're doing, and here's the cake. So it's got a covered whiteboard, which we covered last night. So again, if you want to see how I covered it, go and check out last night's live. But we're just going to start doing the final coat. It shouldn't take very long, and then we'll be on to all the fondant bits. So I'm just going to pan you down so that you can see. So I'm not going to use a piping bag because it's just a final coat. I'm not too fussed. So, and also I've got loads of buttercream. I usually use a piping bag if I'm trying to be sparing, but because I've got loads, I know that I can just Morning, Catherine. How is everyone? I am so tired. I'm literally, as soon as this cake goes, I think I'm literally gonna get in bed and just chill out and watch TV for the rest of the day because I'm so exhausted. It's been such a busy weekend. Do you prefer making brownies or cakes? I used to say brownies because they were quick, but now I prefer cakes, 1000%. I don't really like making brownies that much anymore, just because I'm more so now getting into the creative side of being a baker, and brownies aren't very creative at all. So yeah, I much prefer doing cakes, and also because my cakes have got interesting recently, like people have been ordering really cool things, so it makes it a lot more interesting for me to then make the cakes as well. Right, that is pretty smooth, so we're just going to tidy up the edges at the top because it's got nothing on the top, so it needs to be like perfect on the top. So this is the wrong palette knife for it. I need my other one. I need this one because it's nice and long, so that means that you can smooth it out really easily. Trying to get this perfect is so faffy. Just like going back and forth. What time did you get to bed in the end last night? I was up chatting, so I didn't actually go to bed until 3 a.m. So yeah, and then I got up at 7 and went for a lovely dog walk. So yeah. Oh, I just got a text. Yeah, I went for a dog walk, so I am so tired because I've literally had 3 hours sleep. So yes, exhausted, which is why I'm literally going to bed after this. I missed an appointment. I just got a text saying I missed an appointment this morning, so that's exciting. I've got the day off, so I'm just chilling watching you. Oh, lovely. Right. Do you ever worry that something will go wrong with the cake or that the person won't end up liking it? I'm such a perfectionist and struggle to ever be completely satisfied with the end result. I used to be like that, but a lot of the time now I am completely happy with how things turn out. And also you have to kind of learn to love your work, because if you can't, like, I'm a perfectionist myself, so I kind of know, but if you can't completely love your work and be satisfied with it, then you're going to constantly be chasing this like better standard than what you're putting out. So you just have to accept that that is your standard of work. That's what it's going to be like, and yeah, you just have to accept it, basically. Because in the beginning I used to just dread every single cake that I made because I was so worried that people weren't going to like it, and it just makes it not enjoyable in the end. So it's so much better when you start like believing in yourself and actually liking the work that you're putting out. But yeah, it definitely takes time, but you will get there. Right. So right, we're going to shove that in the fridge because we can't add anything to it until it is nice and solid. But yeah, it's all covered. Right, we are going to move over here to the table because we need to make some fondant bits. So I love that pink. Isn't it the nicest? It looks so pretty already, so I'm hoping that it turns out good. Hi Natalie, hi Claire. Right, what's going on here? There we go. This table is still a mess from last night. I'm going to go and wash my hands and then we're going to start on whatever we need to start on. Right. What do I need? I need ice and sugar. I don't know why, but literally everywhere I went this morning had ran out of icing sugar. I was like, there must be a shortage or something. So, but luckily I had the exact amount that I needed to make that pink buttercream. So we were good. But I do need a little bit for dusting. So I'm going to have to use like the leftover in the packet. So I'm really hoping they like my little man that I made because he was really difficult. He's set now as well. But yeah, I'm really hoping, like, I'm happy with his body and his head, but his hair was so hard. Like, his hair was beyond difficult, especially for someone that does not make fondant. I don't make fondant. So look at his little arms and his body. So yes, that's what he looks like. I did the face the same, but yeah, the hair was so difficult. So difficult. But yeah, I don't know. It's like the design of him, his hair was just everywhere. So I was like, I'm going to try my best. So hopefully she likes it. Oh, thank you guys. You're making me feel better. Hopefully, you should be proud of that. It's brilliant. To be fair, I did tell her that I don't make fondant. So she was aware. So yeah, hopefully she likes it. I'm just removing my big stars out of the way. I've made some big stars. And then I will pan you down and we'll have a look at what we need to do. I need to make these bricks, which I might do now because they're not going to set that quickly. So I'll be able to make them and then put them on the cake afterwards. And we also need to make the letters to go in the other letters. So we've got the outlines. like so, and we need to make the white to go inside it. Those have hardened, and I'm not worried about the white hardening because it's going to be stuck to something that is hard, so we'll be fine on that front. So we need, what colour do we need? Grey. Grey for the bricks. So I am using Pro Gel Grey, and if I remember rightly, it's very, very pigmented. So, and we want like a lightish grey, so we're not gonna go crazy on the colour. And I'm just gonna mix this, and then we will start cutting. I'm hoping that this all works out the way I want it to. What have we got? Someone said about cornstarch. I don't know if I've got cornstarch. I have actually, I have a reasonable amount of this icing sugar. So I'm just going to use it sparingly to roll out my stuff on. Right, so we've got our white, and we're going to make it grey. Not sure how much I need of this, so we're going to play it by ear. Okay, so let's see. Right, I'm gonna pan you down before my hands get even dirtier than they already are. So as you can see, I've already made the big stars, and then what I'm gonna do is luster them. So they're a blue, but they're a sprinkle, but I couldn't find them because they're like a giant star sprinkle. So I couldn't find it. So I thought I'll make them out of fondant, and then I'm just going to luster them with some silver luster. So then they'll be like a glittery blue, basically. That's what we're going for. So we're probably going to need it a bit darker than this. I can already tell that that's not going to be dark enough. Where do you find the best place to buy sprinkles? I buy all of my sprinkles from Sprinkly UK. I don't order any other sprinkles from anyone else. I buy from supermarkets, but apart from that, I don't actually like order online from anyone apart from Sprinkly UK. Just because I like all their stuff, and also they do sample bags. So I buy literally like tens of sample bags in loads of different sprinkles, because then it means that you can have lots of different sprinkles and not have them go to waste, because the thing is, you don't want them going off. So I buy the sample bags, and then because I use about maybe 5 different sprinkles on every cake I do. I never use like one packet. I always use lots of different ones. So for me, it makes more sense to buy the sample bags, and then I can use lots of different ones. So yes, that is my favourite place. was still a little bit darker than this. I think I still want a deeper grey. Did you get around to asking them to sponsor you? I haven't yet, no. I need to write like a formal letter so that it looks professional. Because yeah, I literally only buy my stuff from there, and it's not because I want a sponsorship, it's just because I love their stuff, so I don't buy from anyone else. But yeah, and Claire, it was Sprinkly UK. You just Google that and they'll come up straight away because they're like the first person on there. So many streaks. Morning, I missed yesterday's live, so happy I made this one. Are you sponsored by Sprinkly UK? No, I'm not sponsored by them. I just like all their stuff. I am going to ask them about a sponsorship because, or like just working together, because I've used their stuff for a year now and I don't use anyone else, so it just makes sense to potentially have some kind of sponsorship or things along that line, because they are someone that I use like consistently. Right. There we go. So, I'm gonna Those foam dry mats are good for keeping fondant decorations on. I know you don't do fondant very often, but defo recommend if you haven't already got one. Okay, you might need to like send me a photo of it or something, because I'm not necessarily sure what I'm looking for. So if you don't mind sending me a photo on like Instagram or something, and then I can look them up. Thumbs up, folks. Thank you to anyone that's liking. Is this real life? So many lives in such little time. I know, yeah. I am so tired from like all the lives. 20 watching, let's get the likes up. Thank you, Samantha. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to cut some of these into bricks, and then some of them I'm going to leave as strips, and then what I can do is kind of like do the lines for the bricks as I go. So I'm going to cut a few bricks off. And then make a few of the lines shorter than others, so that we get a bit of variety in there. You can get them on Cake Decorating Co and probably Amazon and eBay. Oh, okay. Yes, I'll have to have a look. Right, so I want to get the cake out to kind of see how much I've got of everything. So I'm going to turn you this way, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cake here, and then it means that I can maybe start sticking onto it. So, wash my hands. So I'm just going to clean the board. Where is... Right. I'm just smoothing the top a bit. Now that it's actually cold. Right, so I'm hoping that I should just be able to stick these bricks to the cake without any like adhesive. There we go, brick number 1. They should, by the looks of it, just stick to the buttercream, which I think is what I have done before when I've needed to do this. I love that you're putting them in random places. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to make it look more random, so that it doesn't look as like structured. But yeah. It's really annoying me that this side is slightly higher. So I'm trying to scrape it a little bit to make it match, because this side's a little lower. Right, I'm going to pop it back in the fridge just so that it can set, because we've only just done the final coat, and then also the bricks will stick to that. Just need to wash my hands. Have you ever used a Pro Froster? I've just started and I think it's fab. I have not. I don't usually have any issues getting them flat, but for some reason today's wanted to curve slightly on one side. So yeah, it's annoying me. And also usually the tops of my cakes are covered, so even if I do get them perfectly flat, no one sees it. Whereas this one, obviously, I think there's more pressure on me to get it like perfectly flat, because it's there's like nothing going on it. The top is literally having sprinkles and the blue stars that I've made, like a few of those. It's not having anything else. So the top is super, super plain. I think it's so that you can put candles on it. But yeah, the side is where all the detail is. Like the little figures going on the side. The name is going on the side. The numbers on the side. God, I'm so tired. So yeah, that's what we're working with. But I'm just gonna carry on. We need to do I think actually all we have to do is the whites of the letters. So we just need to cut out the white bits and stick them on to the red outline, and then just stick everything on there. I need to put sprinkles on the cake, obviously. So yeah, there's not very much to do at all, and we've got another 2 hours until it's being collected, but I'm obviously not planning to take 2 hours to do all that. But yes, what's the Pro Froster? Isn't it one of the ones where it's like that? Where it's a bit like, it looks a bit like a protractor or something, but it's got like a ruler one side and then a ruler on the top, is that right? And then you scrape it round and then you get it like exactly flat. You put it at like whatever angle you want it. But yeah, I don't know. I've obviously put the bricks on now, so I can't change it, but I did consider trying to tidy the edges up a little bit, but then I was like, no, I'm just gonna leave it. Your hand action described it perfectly. You're so calm decorating cakes on the day it's to be collected. I need some of your calmness. I mean, like a half an hour before, if I'm still decorating it, then I'll get scared. But yeah, I honestly don't know where this has come from, because I used to be a nervous wreck before decorating cakes. I'd literally be decorating them and they had to be done the night before, even if they're being collected in the evening, just because I was so nervous about them. And then I couldn't sleep. I would be so anxious, like, to actually give them the cake, and then I would check up on them. I'd be like, I hope the cake's lovely, and it's like, I should not need to do that, but I needed like reassurance that it was okay. And then I say this all the time, but like, I honestly don't know what happened, but in January some kind of switch flicked, because in January is when I started getting a lot more cake customers and less brownie customers, which is what I wanted, and also I just wasn't worried about doing them anymore, which is really weird. Like, usually I'm quite an anxious person, but when it comes to cakes, I don't seem to mind that much. So, yeah, it's a nice way to live, but yeah, I honestly don't know what's changed, but something changed. I'm up until 2 a.m. to make sure it's done. To be fair, there are times, it's not so much that I'm panicking, but I would rather, if someone's collecting, say like 11, this person's collecting at 12:30, so it was a bit later and I knew I was getting up early today. But if I have nothing to do the next morning and they want to collect at like 11, I would prefer to stay up until 1, 2 and have it completely finished, then leave it slightly finished, and maybe I need to just put a drip on it and toppings and stuff, and do that in the morning. Because one, I worry that I won't get up. I have this like massive fear that I won't get up for stuff, like it's the worst thing in the world. But that's why I have so many alarms. Like, I keep having to turn my alarms off because yeah, they keep going off. I've literally set alarms all the way until 12:30 because I was thinking maybe I won't wake up for my walk this morning at 7 a.m. and then I'll just be in bed, and then I'll wake up at like 11 and I'm like, oh, I need to ice a cake for 12:30. So that's why I was like, I have to get up. And I've always been like that. Like, literally when I was in school, I used to double, triple check my alarms because I was like, if I don't get up, I'm going to be late. And yeah, literally since I was about 16, I've done that. I just don't like, as much as I'm still late for stuff, I don't like waking up late and having that fear of like not having done something. And obviously cakes is slightly different. Like, school, you could miss a little bit, be late, but if someone turns up to collect their cake and I'm in bed, then like that's not gonna work. So yeah, I always get super worried about stuff like that. So that's the only thing that I worry about, that I'm not gonna get up. So that's why I have to have stuff done, but I still don't really panic about it. Once I thought I'll wake up and didn't. Cake collection at 11, woke up at 9, didn't bake the cake either. Oh my God. When were you planning to bake the cake? Because I baked mine the night before. No, I baked them the night before, the day before, if that makes sense. So like, I've got a cake for Wednesday, so I'm gonna bake it tonight, and then I'm gonna crumb coat it in the morning tomorrow, and then decorate it in the evening. So it'll be crumb coated, and then yeah, I'll decorate in the evening. So I have to bake them the night before I'm going to actually decorate it. So I don't know how you thought that you were going to get up and bake and decorate all of that in one go. That must have been so stressful. You did it, thank God, in time. How? How did you do it in 2 hours? Like, I bake a cake and I need like an hour just for it to cool. Like, I'm really obsessive about the amount of time that they have to cool. Like, I don't touch the cakes if they're warm, so I don't know how you did that. Right, finish my tea. So, we need, I didn't need to actually colour all of that icing grey, because now I've got loads of grey icing, which I'm not going to use. So, I baked it meanwhile I did all the prep. Honestly, that sounds like tough work to me. I do not envy you. Yeah, that's why I set 1,000 alarms. Like, people wonder why I set 1,000 alarms. That is why, because I do not ever want to forget something, like, ever. I've never forgotten a cake, touch wood, never forgotten a cake. Like, it's never been left out my diary. That's because on a weekly basis, like maybe like twice a week, I always check my phone messages, because I get loads of messages on like Instagram and Facebook to book in. So I do regular checks where I go through my order book and then I check the names to the orders, because I worry that someone's messaged me at a weird time. So like last night someone booked in at 11 p.m. so then I had to write their name in my diary, but I didn't actually write all the details, because then I'm going to look and go, oh, I need to check whoever's order, and then write it all in there, because that's the one thing that I worry about, is that someone will place an order and I'll forget to write it in. But fingers crossed that never happens. Has anyone ever forgotten an order? Like, completely forgotten it and then the person's turned up and you haven't done it? Do cakes stay moist if you cover it with fondant? Supposedly, I don't know, because I don't cover in fondant. All of my cakes are buttercream only. I'm just doing fondant accents on this cake. So, nothing major, which is why we're doing it on the morning. Any cake disasters? If I'm completely honest, no, luckily. And I would like to keep it that way. I've never had a cake, like, touch wood, I've never had a cake topple over. I've never had a stacked cake, like 2 tiers, never had that fall over. Although there have been times where I have been worried about it, because if someone has, it's like, I did a wedding cake and she was like, it was a really hot day and there was no fridge space, and she was like, we just want to have it on show for while we're at the ceremony, and then when we come back. And I was like, it is like 30 degrees outside. I was so worried, but luckily I didn't get any messages saying that it had fallen over, so I took that as no news is good news. So yeah, we were very happy about that. So yeah, never had any, I mean, you could class like the odd mistake in a recipe as a disaster, but I wouldn't class it as a disaster. I just like rebaked it and everything was fine. Like, I was pretty chilled about it because I knew that I had plenty of time. But yeah, I've done that where I've like forgotten the sugar, where I've been just multitasking. Usually it was when I would have a lot of postal orders. So I did it once around Valentine's and once around Halloween, because I did those postal boxes where I had like 30 to do in a day, and then I was also baking cakes. So that obviously meant that I kept forgetting things. But apart from that, luckily I haven't had anything too major. Has anyone had anything major? Can we share it in the comments, because I want to know if anyone's had any like crazy things go wrong. I only know fondant, trying to improve my buttercream skills. Well, that's good, because you're in the right place. Where is my little smoother? Right, I'm just moving out the white, and then I'm going to pan you down so that you can see me actually cut it. Try to make it a bit thin because it's going on top of another letter, so I don't think it needs to be very thick. I need to dust these off a bit though, because they are covered in icing sugar. Also need to make sure they aren't bigger than the red letters. I had to make a Spider-Man cake, and the red buttercream is hell to make. And when I finally achieved it, the bowl slipped and it broke. Oh my gosh, that sounds horrible. I doubled the brownie recipe but didn't double the sugar. Oh, I've done it where I made an 8-inch cake, like the amount of batter for an 8-inch cake, but it was only for a 4-inch. So then I froze the cake, and that's the one that I used for my birthday because I had so much batter. I made half and half cheesecake for a customer, my first half and half, and one side collapsed. Oh my God. See, this is the stuff that I can't deal with. Have you ever dropped a cake? I have. Luckily, only the fondant on the top tier was damaged, so I peeled it off and redid it. No one knew any different. Oh my God. I have never dropped a cake. However, I have had my arm give out before when I'm holding it. Luckily, it was over a side, so I literally just like dropped my hand onto the worktop. But I have always got so worried that people are going to drop them. I think you should try fondant. If you use good quality fondant, it won't rip. You just need to get... I just need to get my edges sharper. Yeah, I want to try it so that I can like rule it off, if that makes sense, and I can say whether I can do it or not. Like if I did get a customer that wanted it, I could say, yeah, go for it, because I can do it. However, for me, I prefer the look of buttercream cakes. So it's not even that I don't want to learn to do fondant. I'm just sort of thinking I prefer how buttercream looks, so I don't need to learn to do fondant. What makes good quality fondant? Don't ask me, because I only make small fondant bits, so I use store-bought, like just supermarket. But if you're covering a cake, you need better quality. The problem with cheesecake is that you have to wait so long to know if it's set. Yeah, and then what if it isn't? Then like, you gotta redo it. That must take absolutely ages. Oh no, we got black paint on there. That was the wrong brush. I use Flex. Oh, okay, I'll have to try that couture. I overfilled cupcake cases and it went everywhere in the oven. Lots of cleaning up, I bet. I had a box of cupcakes get knocked off my collection table, though they fell face down just before the customer was coming. Luckily, she was late and I managed to sort it. God, that sounds stressful. I get worried about dropping cakes as I'm taking them out the fridge. Luckily, the customer didn't mind waiting another day and it was fine. Is it stiff to roll out? Yeah, that's the thing. There are some fondants which I don't know, like, because I don't use fondant that much, when they're really stiff to roll out, I sort of think to myself, is it meant to be like that? Ah, okay. If the fondant is not stiff, which is probably like the shop bought stuff, then it's more likely to tear. Thank you, Jilly. That is very useful to know. Right. What do I need? think that's a question for you, Claire, all these fondant questions. You and Sharon, I think, about colouring it, because I literally just wing it. I'm probably not doing it the best way that I could, but I just do whatever. Oh, okay. Yeah, you just literally colour it. Just add it to your fondant, and then I've heard that you're not meant to fold it, you're meant to twist it, but I think that's more if you're covering a cake. Whereas because I'm rolling it out into little pieces, I don't think it matters as much. I think it's something to do with air bubbles. But yeah, because it's little pieces, I read that it doesn't matter too much. So it's more for covering. Oh, and if anyone's wondering, I'm just using the Hobbycraft edible glue. Again, I haven't found like any particular brands because I don't do fondant that much, but I found that this one's quite good and it comes in a massive pot. So yeah, I just use this one, but there probably are better ones out there. Right. You're a bit long. I love these little letters. Quite fun to make. Right. See if we can make the Y out of what we have here. I think that's for the air bubbles. Yeah, that's why I fold it for just like for little things, but if I'm doing something big, then I think you twist it. I'm not sure. I'm new to your channel. Are you self-taught? Yes. Yeah, just trial and error of trying lots of different things. I've been baking about 1 year and 2 months now. Right, now we need to make the 6. Was just checking that I didn't have any messages from the lady that's collecting, just to make sure we're all good for time. Right, all the fondant bits are done. So, definitely don't use liquid colours in fondant, and remember, the more colouring you add to fondant, the stickier it becomes, so it's harder to work with. I completely agree. Move that. So, I always try to find the closest match in a pre-coloured fondant, then add a small colour of... See, all the pre-coloured fondant that I've found, like Renshaw and brands like that, I found that it tastes funny. I don't know if anyone else thought that. I thought it tasted like ridiculously sweet. Right. So, we need our sprinkles. I've got a really bad neck. Right. So we're using the Fairground mix from Sprinkler UK, the white pearls, and then we're using some pink and indigo matte rods. Yeah, it does. I only buy pre-coloured black, navy and red. Yeah, it tastes so funny. Like I tried a bit and I was like, I cannot. I'd made something in it and I was like, I can't like use that. It just was so sickly and like the weirdest aftertaste. So I was like, right, I'm gonna have to take that off and start again. I'm gonna grab my iPad because I need the photo of this cake so to work from for the final bit. Renshaw is very sweet. I didn't find the Smart Flex to be so sweet. Okay, I might have to try that instead. Do you have a sample bag to show the size? Yes, so this is a sample bag of Sprinkler UK. I only buy the sample bags. I've never bought anything bigger because if you think, these are, that'll be like £3.90 because they're £1.29 each, rather than like £6 or something for a bottle. But I would never get through a bottle of that. Whereas I can buy a sample bag of this when it runs out. I can buy a different blue or I can buy a gold. I just like having the choice to be able to buy literally whatever I want. And look, these are all my sample bags. So yeah, I like to be able to use lots of different sprinkles on one cake. And if I was to buy the bottles, which are like the size of this, then that would be £6 each. So if you think, if I want to use 5 different sprinkles, that's £30. Whereas this, it's a lot cheaper. Because it's not so much that I'm going to use the whole bag and it would cost me that much, but it's more if someone says, I want this cake, and I think I've got none of those sprinkles, I can buy them all in sample bags, so it's just so much easier. Right. I need mini chocolate bars. That's what I need. I knew there was something that I needed for the cake. So, here we are. I haven't done as much brick as they did in theirs because there's a lot of it, and I feel like half of it's going to be covered by like the stuff that's going on it. So, I'm trying to figure out where I made the front. I think it was here. So there's basically nothing on the board on this, so I'm going to get a piping bag and do a teeny bit of piping just to stick stuff down, because it's a plain board, so like all the stuff that is stuck to it, it's not going to stay there. And as soon as they get in the car, it's going to move, so Right, I'm just adding a teeny bit of piping into here. I'm just using any nozzle because it's probably going to be covered. I thought it would be tiny. I'm going to place my order today. I love those rods. I need to check them out. Is it Sprinkly UK? Yes, my favourite place to buy any sprinkles from. So I think I'm going to put the man on a different side to what they have. So we need to douse this cake in sprinkles because it's looking very plain, but the one in the image has ridiculous amounts of sprinkles on it. So we're just gonna, because it's got nothing going on the top, we are just going to, oh, that rolled straight off. So I need to stick those down because where it's been in the fridge, I need to actually push them in a little bit. So. Right, I just need to double check a message quickly. BRB. Perfect. Sorry, I was just checking. God's sake, dog's out. In. Oh, come on. Right. So we need to just dust that with a little bit of luster. I'm just using a teeny bit of buttercream to stick this down. I'm going to put the sticks on the top because her name is quite big, so I'm going to put this on here. And then I'm going to put a teeny cocktail stick behind it. Just to make sure that when it's setting, it's not going to fall over. Once it's been in the fridge a little while, it will be fine, but just until then. So that does it so far. We need to put the little man on there. We need some chocolate bars, and then we're pretty much done. My little boy is off school poorly. I'm watching this whilst walking the dogs on the field. Is it Minecraft? It's, what do you call it? Roblox. I've got no idea what that is, but apparently it's very popular. And then we're going to put this guy, I'm going to brush him off a little bit. Right, so we just need to make the little chocolate bars. So yeah, that's what it looks like currently. The name that I'm like following is very like not in line, so that's why I've done it deliberately like that. Yeah, the photo that I'm following has it like all off center, so I've tried to match that as best as possible really. So yes. This is what it's currently looking like. So we just need some little mini chocolate bars and then we're finished. So I'm going to shove it back. Oh gosh, that was very lucky. I nearly put my finger through it. We just need some little chocolate bars and then it will be finished. So my chocolate bar mould is over there. We've got some white chocolate and they're little pink chocolate bars. So we're gonna go and melt some chocolate and then we're done. I'm actually surprised at how reasonable that cake looks considering, excuse the mess, I'm gonna hide it with myself. Considering it's fondant and I don't do fondant. Like I always say to people, I do not do fondant. So I was quite surprised at how it's turned out. Lila is such a pretty name, isn't it? I thought it was such a pretty name. So hopefully she likes the cake. That looks so good. Thank you. That's so pretty. Looks great. Thank you guys. I'm really hoping she likes it. She's had cakes off me before. and she knows that I mainly do buttercream, so yeah, as long as she likes it. So cute. How many dowels have you used for your cake? For this one, I haven't used any. I only use dowels for tiered cakes. Never use any dowels for single tier cakes. That's why I leave them in the fridge for so long, because it means that hopefully they won't fall over or anything. So, but yes, it looks amazing. Thank you. Is the pink fondant also? No, the pink is buttercream, because I don't cover cakes in fondant. Like, I obviously occasionally do fondant decor like I've done today. Like, this is probably the most fondant I've done on one cake. Like, all the bricks are fondant, the character, which I would never normally do. But yeah, so I would never normally do this much fondant. I can't speak. So that's why I was quite surprised. Where can I put you? Over here. So yes, fondant cakes, because that is way too much for me. I can't hack it. Also, I'd rather do it in buttercream base like I have today, just because I think it looks nicer and I know I won't mess it up. Whereas if I offered to do a fondant covered cake, it'd probably look rubbish, and then I just think to myself, why didn't I just do a very smooth buttercream coat? It just means that you have to make sure that there's no lines in it, nothing around the sides, because it's more noticeable, because they're going to be comparing it to a photo which is fondant. So if you're not that great at really smoothing your buttercream, then maybe don't do it as an alternative. But I can get the sides pretty smooth, so that's why I usually say to people, I'll do it in buttercream and you won't even notice, because there won't be any lines, so it'll just look like a pink cake, basically. So yeah, I am starving. I've got a vegan sausage roll over there and it's really eyeing me up. And I'm very hungry. I also need a cup of tea, so literally as soon as I finish this, that is what I'm making. I'm having that sausage roll and making a tea. This chocolate isn't quite melted. I need my colour mill. I was going to use Colour Splash, but that would have been a bad idea. I was going to use this one, but I have Colour mill, so I should just use Colour mill, because otherwise we're going to have C's chocolate, which nobody wants. So this is what I'm using. It's leaking everywhere, as everyone knows. Whoever uses Colour mill will know that it just leaks everywhere. So, and then this is the mould that I'm using. For any newbies, I sell these moulds on my website. So if you would like to purchase through there, feel free. But this is the mould that I'm using. So it's just little chocolate bars. So yes. Did you mention tea? Yes, please. No, mum, it should be you making me tea. You're the one watching a YouTube live and I'm the one actually making a cake. Have you ever made extra tall double barrel cakes before? If you have, please can you give me some advice on how to double barrel cake? So it's the same as you would do normally. I don't believe you put the plastic dowels in. I think you literally just do a wooden dowel all the way down, and then you put a board in between. So maybe you do like 3 layers of cake, then you put a silver board, and then you do another 3 layers, and then you put a dowel in. But I don't think people do the plastic dowels. I may be wrong, but I don't think you put the plastic dowels, because otherwise there's going to be so many dowels, because you're going to have dowels in the bottom and then you're going to have the next layer going on top. So I don't know. I've got no idea. It was your mum. Yeah. Yes, that was my mum mentioning tea. Again, for any newbies, Jules is usually on the lives or in them. Sometimes she pops in, but that is my mum. Right, we're just going to colour this. gets everywhere. It like flicks on you. So I'll pan you down in a minute so that you can see what I'm doing. So it's a very pale pink in the photo, so I think that's what I'm gonna try and match. Right. Pan you down. There we go. So we have our mould. That's what I was thinking, Jilly. Yeah, so you do put dowels. I wasn't sure. I mean, it doesn't really make much point to put a board in between, but I was thinking, I've seen people do double-barreled 4-inch cakes, and surely there won't be enough room for you to put plastic dowels in a 4-inch cake because they're so small. Right, I'm going to shove those in the freezer. Have you ever dropped a cake? No, luckily, and touch wood, I never do, because that is my worst nightmare. I think you put 2 plastic dowels and then a centre dowel all the way through for a 4-inch. Yeah, it must be like a small amount, because obviously you lose some of the sponge when you put dowels in, because especially on a 4-inch cake. I'm just going to grab my drink and the box while we're sat down. While we're sat down, I'm gonna, while we're waiting for the freezer stuff, I'm gonna make the box up so that I'm using my time effectively. Yeah, so if you do 2 dowels, it won't sort of take the sponge away too much, because I know, like, from when I do tiered cakes, the 4 dowels, or sometimes more than 4, do sometimes not tear the sponge, but obviously when you cut it, you lose a bit of sponge where the dowels are, and a 4-inch cake's so small that I would just be thinking that you would lose a lot of the cake by putting too many dowels in, but I guess if you do 2, then it's less. So it shouldn't be as bad. I'm trying to move around this table because I have so much stuff on it, so that I actually have a tidy space to make this box up. I've got a really itchy nose. Right. Where are you based? I am in Buckinghamshire. I'm near, trying to think of somewhere where you might actually know, because no one seems to know where I am. I'm near, like, Milton Keynes, Bicester, that kind of area. So not, and like it's about an hour or so from London. But yes, not too far away from anything. Right, 10-inch box. I need my stapler. So if anyone missed it, I just got a phone call from the customer. I can't answer it while I'm on live. So considering the cake is basically done, the only thing I've got to add is a couple of little mini chocolate bars. I'm going to leave you here just so that I can contact her, because she had an appointment. So she's like 40 minutes early. So I don't know if there's something going on with the collection. So I'm going to go and call her, and I'm going to love you and leave you because I need to go and do that. But I hope you enjoyed the live, seeing all the fondant bits. And if you haven't already, make sure you like the live, and I will see you in another video. I'm probably going to go live on Tuesday because I have a cake to do for Wednesday. So I'm probably going to go live again on Tuesday, but that'll be during the day. No, it'll be in the evening because I'm free Tuesday evening. So yes, Tuesday evening, there'll be another live. Right, bye!